Welcome to the energy medicine yoga class. We're going to be doing just some, a minimal chair yoga type of things, and then we'll do a longer meditation, a couple different meditations, more holds on the body versus with a meditative aspect to that. For those of you who have not been to my class on the second Wednesdays of the month at 12:15, I'm Rita Lampe. I'm an Eden Energy Medicine Practitioner, advanced practitioner, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So I do therapy, but I do integrative trauma work using this modality of energy medicine. And I've been doing the other class for about 6 or 7 years. And I decided to do this yoga class because it's an evening time and a lot of people can't come during the day. And it's a little bit different, but I will integrate a lot of the stuff that we do in the Wednesday class. The Wednesday class is more learning techniques for you to help your own body's energy systems for your holistic wellness. And I love this modality because it helps us feel empowered. It helps us know that we have something we can do to help ourselves in our process here, whatever that process is. So without further ado, let's just get started. Wherever you are, you can find a comfortable seat, preferably with your feet on the ground, because we're going to work a little bit with our feet tonight too. And if you have shoes on, if you want to take them off, it's better to have your feet be able to feel the ground underneath you. Usually that can't happen with shoes on. So if you can do that, it'll be more beneficial. And if you want to grab a blanket for when we do a longer meditation, so you're nice and cozy, that's fine too. So we're going to start with just some regular breath. And if you want to, you can hold, you may not be able to see my body here on this camera for whatever reason, but I'm holding one hand on my heart center and one hand below my belly. It's just a nice place to start to connect with your body and your breath. We're just going to start with some long, deep breaths through the nose. See how far you can bring the breath up. And then you can exhale through the mouth, kind of like a sigh out. Feel in the belly, kind of contract on your exhale and expand on your inhale. And let it go. And on these exhales, really just allow the body to release any of the stress and tension from the day. And as you're doing that, opening your mouth and exhaling, maybe you can choose to close your eyes if you want, and do a little mini body scan, starting from the crown of your head. And inhaling, bring your awareness there. And as you exhale, bring your mind's eye through your crown and all the way down your body in a slow way, just noticing where you might hold more tension. And wherever that space is, as you continue to breathe, bring that breath to that space that you notice has a little bit more tension. And then inhale to that breath there and let that tension go. Invite it to just be released. A lot of times it's in the shoulders, the neck, the head. Sometimes it's in the mid back or the low back, but wherever it is, just bring your awareness there in your breath. Breath is the first thing we do to bring our heart rate down, to bring ourselves into a state of calm and ease. Oftentimes when we're stressed, we're holding our breath. So this is a practice in being mindful of our breath. And I like to exhale through the mouth because it lets the jaw relax a little bit more and lets a little bit more of that relaxation energy out, or and out into the open here. Let's do 3 more rounds like this. Whatever exhale you want to make. The last one. And then the next 3 breaths, we're going to really focus on bringing energy with our inhale from below our feet. Imagine we're bringing up energy from the earth, breath from the earth. Bring it up through our feet. Imagine the breath coming up from below. filling up our chest. And on the exhale, imagine the exhale going through the throat, out the crown of the head, and spilling out into what we call our auric field, our energy field around us. And then on the next inhale, you're going to bring that breath back down through the top of the head. And on the exhale, let it down through your feet. So you're creating a wave of breath from the bottom up and out, and from the top, inhaling down and all the way exhaling through your feet into the ground. So that's the breath pattern. And I'm going to let you do it on your own as I move through that pattern. 3 breaths, inhaling up from the ground through the feet, exhaling through the crown. Then pulling the next breath in from above you, through your core, filling up your belly, and letting that exhale go all the way down through your legs, down through your feet, back into the ground below you. And again, breathing in from the ground up, the inhale. Exhaling through the crown. I feel like it's sometimes like a whale spout of energy and breath, and then bringing that breath through the crown. And exhaling it down through the body, down, down, down through the feet. Last one, all the way up. And through the crown. Bringing the energy in from above and the breath. Moving it through your core, down through your legs, through your feet, back into the ground below you. And I'll just move back into just a regular breath. You can move your hands or shake them out if you want. That last breath we did of the wave of up and down is called, there's many names for it, but it's called central channel breathing. There's also another name called in energy world called the Taji pole. And the Taji pole is this field of energy that connects us. It's a grounded energy. It's like a grounding rod. So, you have to put grounding rods outside to ground your electricity. Well, our bodies need to be grounded too. So this breath helps get our bodies in alignment with the gravitational force and bring that energy through the core. And it opens up that channel, that central channel. On that note, let's hook up our energies here. So we're going to go to our belly button here and then in between the eyebrows. And you're going to push in and pull up. And breathe. And you can hold your eyes, keep your eyes open or closed on this one. I tend to close my eyes a lot. I can just get into the flow a little bit better. But this is connecting two really important energy pathways called the central and governing. It's a pathway that goes around the body from the groin area up the back and from the groin area up the front. It's called the central governing meridians. I think I said that. It's also known as the microcosmic orbit. So once we clear our channel, now we're plugging into our internal energy system, like plugging into our computer. So if you feel ungrounded, you feel out of sorts, those 2 things we just did will bring you much clarity and make you feel more grounded and not so foggy. So shake that out. We're going to do the next exercise to release some energy, from the head. A lot of times during the day, things build up, and we hold a lot in our head. So we're going to do the crown pull, putting our fingers in the middle of our forehead. And just as we breathe, we're going to push in with some pressure and just open up. And we're going to go all the way over the crown of our head. You can also take your fingers and kind of just make little rubbing circles here, like you're washing your hair, and just pull down. It's like you're trying to open up your scalp. Energy needs space to move. And so we're opening up some space in our head to let whatever's been pent up there be released. And when you get to the bottom of the skull, there's a little soft spot there. And then there's 2 little soft spots at the bottom of the occipital ridge, the bones at the bottom of the skull. You just want to rub there. They're really important points. They're electric and power points. And then down the neck, And then when you get to the bottom of the neck, see if you can pull that energy over your trapezius muscles, the tops of your shoulder muscles here. Pull it down and land on your heart center. I don't know why this camera is doing this, but anyway, so we're here on our heart center. I did it again. And then just take a breath. And that crown pull is good to do, multiple times during the day, because things build up, and especially if you've or you've just been sitting in a meeting all day or sitting looking at the computer, open up space and let some of that pent up heaviness out. Now we're going to move on and do the 4 thumbs. These are all part of the daily energy routine exercises. We're going to start here under the top of the cheekbone, right under the eyes. And I like to rub first. It's kind of where your sinuses are. So in this time of year, it's nice to even just rub them with some pressure, especially if you've had a cold or you have any sinus issues going on. You might feel yourself starting to drain when you do this. This exercise called the 4 thumbs is also helpful to keeping our immune system strong. So now we're going to tap back and forth on those same points. This is a stomach meridian point. Helps us stay grounded as well, but also opens up space in the sinuses to let energy move. Now we're going to move down to the collarbone. And you're going to take this and slide right underneath there. And those are called the K27s, the end of the kidney pathway, energy pathway. And then you're going to rub and tap. And breathe. And then you move your hands down. So now you're on the breastbone. So the breastbone or the sternum. Below that is the thymus gland. And the thymus gland is one of the glands involved in keeping our immune system strong. So when you're tapping here, we're waking it up. We're giving it, getting it some energy so it can work to its optimal capacity. Now, the last one on the 4 thumbs is right underneath the armpits. And you want to just go, it's usually at the top of the bra line. Mine's been sore the last couple of days. Maybe my body's trying to fight something off it. This is the end of the spleen meridian. So you want to rub and then you can tap. Go back and forth. If that's hard on your shoulders, cross your arms and tap this way. And you can rub this way, whichever works for you. Sometimes people have shoulder issues. You'll notice some tenderness around the spot. If you do notice some tenderness, you want to do some more work with that later. Okay, get that open, that spleen pathway open. Get it strong. The spleen really is involved in keeping our system strong. So coming back, we're going to do mix some yoga, gentle yoga poses. And now we're going to do what we call a seated cat-cow. So if you're seated, and if you know cat-cow from yoga, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you put your hands on your thighs, and you're just going to inhale forward, maybe pushing your chest out, your shoulder blades together. So you're kind of pushing opening up your spine this way. And then you come back on the exhale, round your spine. So you're going to be rounding your spine this way, exhaling forward, rounding it out. So inhaling forward, pushing out. Spinal flex is a really good exercise in yoga, but also from an energy standpoint, it's moving energy up and down the spinal column. So we get a lot of stress and tension here. And it's also when you're doing this moving forward, your hip bones are going back, your pelvis is going back a little bit, and then you're pulling your belly button in and rounding the spine out. So you're moving energy from the tailbone all the way up to the shoulders. For people who sit a lot, like myself, this is a really great exercise because we get a lot of stiffness in our tailbone and our sacrum. And even if you're on the computer a lot, you're sitting like this. So opening up the chest. So it's one exercise I encourage people to do every day as well. On that same note, we're going to open our arms up to a T, and we're going to bring them forward, kind of rounding that. And then we're going to take our hands out and open up our chest. This is doing a similar thing. Go back as far as you can. That's comfortable. If you've had shoulder issues, pay attention to your body. Always listen to your body. But we're also, as we do this, we're expanding and opening up our auric space, our energy bubble around us. So we're coming together, opening up, coming together. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of tension lately in my upper back and my shoulder area. So this really helps relieve some of that. Okay, one more. Forward and back. And then shake it up. And from a seated position, we're going to do a zip up, and then we're going to do a call it what they call it, like a swimming in the aura. So you go to your pubic bone, you start here, and you're going to pull your hands all the way up to your chin and out 3 times. So the zip up is also part of this energy medicine exercise routine, the 5-minute daily energy routine. It's zipping up our chakra energies and that central meridian, and then shake it out. And then the swimming the aura is really, again, if you have shoulder issues, be really careful. You're just going to be moving your arms like that. You're opening up space. Our energy bubble, our protective bubble of energy around us is called the aura, and it goes out to our fingertips normally. Sometimes the energy can get compressed and it'll come in on us, and we don't have as much energy protection. So, the way I describe this to people is we have this boundary right here. So when we put our hands out like this, if anybody that we don't know, and sometimes even people we know, get past that space into our space, it's encroaching on that protective energy bubble. So, but sometimes when it collapses in on us, we don't have that. And so we're letting things in that are not always helpful for us. The aura is our first layer of protection from bringing in especially environmental stuff. So we need to keep it open and clear. So I'm doing this now, moving my hands back and forth as if I'm wiping off a board. So this is kind of wiping off the aura, right? Just kind of clearing it. You can also make big circles in your field. I'm just going to do this sitting, but if I were standing, I'd move all around my body in a 360 degrees. And then we're going to do 8s. And those who come to my classes know about the 8s. The 8s is an infinity sign, also known as the infinity sign, is a way that energy moves. Okay, everything moves and it has a symbol or a pattern of moving. If you look at an EKG, it has a pattern. If you look at sound waves, it have patterns, electrical waves. So this biomagnetic energy, bioelectrical energy that we have as part of our body and it surrounds us, this is one way we communicate with them. Doing these 8s. Okay, shake it out. Coming back to center, we're just going to do another little yoga pose to move that energy and stretch the neck a little bit and open up space for any energy that's left hanging around the head shoulder area. So we're just going to gently, now you can choose to put one hand on your head and just the other hand down, and gently use a little traction on your neck or not. You can just tip your ear to your shoulder and breathe, stretching it gently. We also have the vagus nerve that goes along behind the ear and down the side of the neck. So we're also stretching the space out for that. And then take your neck as your ears to your shoulder, take your chin down to your collarbone on that same side. You feel a little bit deeper, different kind of stretch here along the side of the neck and into the trapezius muscle. And then come back to the ear to shoulder and come back to center. And take a breath. We're going to switch to the other side. So whatever side you're on, go to the opposite side. And ear to shoulder. I like to drop my hands down because I'm one of these people that my shoulders tend to encroach upon my ears. So making space now between my ear and my shoulder. I can feel a lot of tension. I can feel that stretch pretty strongly. And when we bring breath there, it allows that muscle to relax a little bit more. And if you want to tip your chin down towards your collarbone, you feel a slightly different stretch. Again, if you have any neck issues, just really listen to your body. If it doesn't feel okay, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Come back to center. Now we're going to turn our head just gently, inhaling it over to the right shoulder, coming back to center, inhaling it left. This is a gentle neck movement from side to side. With your breath, inhale to one side, exhale to center, inhale to the other side, exhale to center. One more to each side. And then come to the center. Again, feeling your head and neck on your shoulders kind of stacking up. And the last neck one we'll do is just an inhale, and we're going to tilt the chin to the chest as far as you can to feel the stretch on the back of the neck. Now, some people can feel it that goes back the neck and all the way down towards almost in between the shoulder blades. Hold it there and just breathe. Kind of a ragdoll pose in yoga, just letting the head hang. And then slowly, slowly bringing it up one vertebrae at a time. And allowing yourself to feel as if there's a little string in the crown of your head and allowing the neck to elongate just a little bit. Our neck tends to get compressed pretty easily, which causes a lot of neck pain. All righty, so let's move on. We're going to do some crossovers. Just taking hand to the opposite shoulder and down to the hip. So we're going to cross one way and just keep crossing over. It's like you're pulling an X over your body. So the reason we do crossovers is because the brain needs the message for the right and the left hemispheres to cross over, okay? Because sometimes they get stuck like this, and they get stuck in a pattern we call homolateral, where they're working, but they're just not really working together as a team. So when we remind it, a reminder to the brain is to do crossovers. Work together, work together. So that's one way to do the crossover that's on the handout that some of you have for daily and routine. The other way is to go opposite hand to the opposite knee. You can do this in a chair, you can do this standing, you can lift your knee up, or you can keep it on the ground. So the thing I love about these exercises is they're modifiable for whatever's going on, right? If you can't even lift your arm that high, don't do it. Just do it smaller, right? So listen, again, I know I say this a lot, but I have to listen to my own body, you know, at my age, and I don't want any injuries when I do a yoga class. I have to really, if I don't want to do the pose, I don't do it. All right, shake that out. We're going to do a really gentle twist. So again, listen to your body. If you've had surgery or anything and you don't want to do this, don't do it. But the twists are good because it opens up space in the rib cage. And we have a lot of internal organs here. We have the spleen, we have the liver, we have the gallbladder, the pancreas. So when we do a twist, it's almost like massaging them. You're wringing them out. You're massaging those internal organs. Okay. So we're going to take our right hand, and go back. Either hold on to the back of your chair if you're in a chair, or even just turn and hold on to the back of your hip. And your left hand's going to touch the outside of your right leg. And you just twist over to the right as far as you can. You're going to feel a little twist in the waist, and you're going to breathe. So whatever is comfortable for you. And again, if it's not comfortable at all, just watch, but breathe. So as we're twisting here, I'm twisting to the right. On the right side is the liver and gallbladder. But I also feel the twist on the left side under the rib cage, which is where spleen and pancreas hang out. And then in the back of the body, we have the adrenals and the kidneys. So come back to center on the exhale, and inhale over to the other side. Left hand goes back, right hand grabs onto that left leg, and kind of see how far you can take your gaze over that left shoulder. and breathe. This is a good pose and to do twist for detox. When you're doing twist and you're kind of internally massaging these organs, it allows them to release, come back to center. I mean, no liver, and gallbladder, and a lot of all these other organs and kidneys are detox organs. So we're going to do it one more time each side. Back to the right. And see if it's different this time. See if you can go even a centimeter farther in that twist. Breathe. Come back to center and go the other way. Go over to the left. Left arm goes back. Right arm grabs on the outside of that left leg and breathe. Okay. Awesome. Any questions so far? Okay. If you can do this, we're going to do one, and if you can't, no worries. But you can do your hands instead of your feet. We're going to do a little bit of what we call opening of the gates of the hands and the feet. If you can't do the feet, just stay on the hands. But we're going to we'll start with the hands. It's like a massage. You're going to take your hands, your other hand, and go in between the metatarsals and really just pull energy through and off each finger. Maybe massage the fingers as you come here and go to the thumb and the ends and in between the thumb and that forefinger, really rub there. And then on the back side, you're going to rub. And the reason we do this and you do the other hand is because there's lots of meridians that begin or end in the hand, the feet, the hands, the feet, and the face. So when we're working with the hands, we're opening up space for energy to flow through those meridians. We're also communicating with them. And then you go to the wrist. And you can just hold your fingers around there and just twist your wrist or massage the wrist. There's a lot of points around the wrist that are called source points. So source points give energy directly to those meridian organs, the organs of those systems. So we have heart and lung and adrenals and small intestine all around here and large intestine in between the thumb here, this little webbing here. So rubbing and massaging the hands is something I like to do on a daily basis. I put lotion in different spots in my house. And now you can do the feet. So you're going to do the same thing with the feet. If you can cross your foot over your other leg, you're going to do the same thing with the feet. If you can't, just stick with the hands. You're going to go down in between each metatarsal. You can use both hands. You can use one hand. But if you can get to the bottom of the foot, behind the pads of the foot in the middle there, it's a really important point right here. It's called the opening of the kidney meridian. It's the point in the bottom of the foot that pulls that energy that we were working on earlier up into the body, that earth energy. And we need that earth energy. It helps us. That's why we encourage people to stand, not today, not in this cold weather, but go barefoot, stand on the earth, even barefoot in the house. It allows for that grounded energy, that electrical energy to come up into the body. I'm switching to my other foot. And there's been lots of studies on when we do that energy that comes in through the bottom of our feet is helpful for our body. It actually helps decrease inflammation. So for centuries, from the beginning of time, humans walked the earth mostly barefoot or in non-rubber soled shoes like moccasins or leather soled shoes. Leather keeps a barrier between our feet and the energy from the earth. So that's why people always say go barefoot if you can, or at least sit on a chair and put your feet on the grass or on the sand or wherever on the weather, and when the weather permits, obviously. So if you notice tender spots on the foot, I've had a lot of tender spots in my foot lately, and there's different meridians that run all up and down the body and end in the foot, the bladder, the spleen, the liver, and the gallbladder and the kidney all start or begin down here. So rubbing the feet, we're also activating those systems, and it feels good. Okay. Alrighty. I'm just going to try to see what I want to do next here. I want to work with And this is where we get more into the meditative part of the class. So we have something in energy medicine and in Chinese medicine called the five rhythms, or the five elements. And some of you may be familiar with that, some of you might not be, but the Chinese came up with these five elements that kind of govern the meridians we were just talking about. And the elements are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. If you've heard of elements before, sometimes people say, well, what about air? Well, air, that elemental grouping is more from Ayurvedic medicine and sometimes from native medicine, but the Chinese use metal, and metal also encompasses the energy of air. So we can communicate again with these by doing certain holds on the body. And the one that I like the most, but again, if you have issues, does anybody here have issues with lifting your arms up?
No.
Okay. So we can do this. If you do, let me know and I'll do an alternative for you. So we have on our head, and this is why that crown pull feels so good. All over the head is something called neurovasculars. So the neurovasculars are points on the head that when we rub them or touch them or hold them, give a signal to the body to bring more blood up to the brain. Hence why they're called neurovasculars. So when we touch the head and hold the head, we are literally helping the body calm down, because when we bring more blood up into the brain, it helps the brain and the body and the nervous system calm down. Because when we get triggered in a fight or flight situation, the blood rushes from our brain, especially the forebrain, and goes into the internal organs because it thinks that it needs to help us survive. And the internal organs need that blood more than anything at that moment to run, to survive. But we've evolved as humans where we can get triggered by something that's not really dangerous, like big loud noise or a dog barking at the door, the same thing will happen. So we can help our bodies readjust and rebalance by holding the neurovasculars on the body, on the head. So, but the other piece of this that makes it even more deeper and relaxing and energy balancing of these five rhythms exercises, that we have a breath that goes along with each of these five rhythms, and we hold those spaces, the neurovascular spaces on the head. Okay, so we're going to start. You're always going to have one hand here, and we're going to stop in between and shake it out, because even it's hard for me to hold, for too long, because we're not going to hold for very long. And the other hand's going to move around the head, and because there's different spots for different parts, different rhythms of the five rhythms or five elements. You'll hear five elements or five rhythms. So we're going to hold one hand here, and the other hand's going to go at the very back of the skull, like at the neck, behind that, below that occipital ridge. And this space in Chinese medicine is the space for the water element. Water governs kidney and bladder. The bladder meridian runs right through where we're holding our hands, back there. And the breath for this is a blowing out of a candle breath. So we're going to inhale and act like we're blowing out of a candle on the exhale. So it goes like this. Everybody inhale. And then blow out the candle. Or do it two more times. Inhale. You got 80 birthday candles, so make it a long blow. I'm not 80 yet. Inhale again. One more time. And shake it out. So if you want to do this, and it doesn't have to hurt the arms as much, it's nice to do in bed, but when we're holding these holds, we often will feel heat or pulsing. And that's a sign that the energy is moving and the blood's pumping back up to the brain. The next one is fire rhythm, or fire element. Fire governs the fight or flight adrenal system, known as triple warmer in Chinese medicine, small intestine, heart, and pericardium, or what we call circulation sex. So it governs the heart protector plus our sexual organs. And that hold is one hand on the back, the flat part of the skull. And again, always one hand at the main, we call the forehead, the main neurovascular system. And the exhale for this is an like you're getting into a nice warm hot tub. So you're inhaling and going, good. Again. One more time. Ah. Now shake it out. Now already for me, I could feel heat and I could feel a little bit of pulsing now. If you hold it longer, you're going to feel more. But again, if you lay in bed and your arms are supported, it's a little bit easier to hold longer. But we don't have to hold long for these shifts to happen. That's what the beauty of this work is. The next one is on top of the crown, and that is related to the metal element, which governs lung and large intestine. It's also under stress. It's holding the energy of grief. And I don't know about you, but my last week and a half has been filled. My body's been really processing a lot of grief. So this one is one I think that a lot of us could use tonight. So here on the forehead, on top of the crown, and the exhale sound is the sound of a snake or like letting air out of a tire, like an S sound. So we're going to inhale and make that S sound. Like letting all that grief and deep sadness out. Inhale. Awesome. One more time. And let your hands fall down. Man, I should have been doing that last night when I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning with a wave of grief. I did some other things, but I forgot to do that one. So I was half asleep. Okay, so we have two more because there's 5. We did 3. The next one is for the wood element or wood rhythm, which governs liver and gallbladder. And it's when we're doing these, we're really letting go of some of the heavier emotions. So this one, wood energy or wood element, holds on to under stress the emotion of anger, resentment, so irritation. This one's a little bit easier on the hands because you can actually take your thumbs and you're going to put them right next to the crease of the eyes, right at the edge, not the temples, but right at the edge of the eyes, and the rest of the fingers on the forehead. And we're going to inhale and make the SH sound, so a sh sound. So inhale, and then a sh. Let that stuff go. Let that irritation, anger, resentment, whatever it is, go. Inhale again. And one more. And oftentimes, if you just want to just connect with releasing any emotion or just calming the whole body down, you can just put your whole hands over your whole face like this with the fingers on your forehead. Just cover your face and breathe. It's a really nice, comforting hold. The last one we could do that way, or we're going to do it this way. You're going to hold your forehead for the earth element and holding on to those points that we tapped at the top of the cheekbone. So these are the stomach points. So earth governs stomach and spleen. And the breath for this is kind of funky. It's that ocean breath that you may know if you take yoga, or that we call it Darth Vader. So it's inhaling, exhaling from the back of the throat as a and then a. So we're going to do that 3 times as we hold the space. Ready? Inhale. And then a. And again. And again. Last one. Let it out. We're releasing overwhelm and worry on that one. Shake it out. So when we do the neurovascular work, typically all of a sudden people start to feel their whole nervous system start to go tone down, volume starts to go down, start to feel a little bit more relief. I hope that's how you feel. If you don't want to do the holds and you just do the breath, that can be equally as positive. And you can just do the breath by holding this for all of the breaths. You don't actually have to hold everything. The body is super intelligent. Energy is very intelligent and intuitive, and it knows exactly what we need. So even with our intention, if we can't move our arms, if we had shoulder surgery or whatever, we just do the breath and we can hold. There's also some holds on the body for the rhythms, and they go around the body this way. So we can do it that way as well. Maybe next time I'll show you that way. Checking the time. Okay. Any thoughts or questions yet? The last thing we're going to do is, so we're working with so many systems tonight. So definitely drink water when you're done. We worked with some meridian stuff. We opened up pathways. We just worked with the 5 elements. And now we're going to work with the chakra system, because in Eden Energy Medicine, we work with 9 energy systems. All those systems work together, kind of like a solar system. One's off, somebody else will be off. So we're trying to balance them all together. Some of you know what the chakras are, some of you don't, but we, typically, if you do know, there's 7 typical ones that we talk about, from the root all the way up to the crown. That's what we're going to work with tonight. But we actually have more than that. We actually have one below the earth called the Earth Star Chakra, and one above called the Sun Star Chakra. So that breath we did at the beginning, that moving of the breath, that was connecting Earth Star and Sun Star, which are the ways that keeps us grounded. So, and there's lots of other little chakras around, but the main ones we work with are the 7 that are connected to the body. So they govern the physical part of the body that they reside in. Their energy centers, they typically are seen as circles, or are spaces of circles. But they also go out 7 layers from the body. Just like the aura expands, the chakras actually go out from the body as well. So there's 7 layers to them. They govern the organs or organ systems in those spaces, but they also are the keeper and recorder of memory and everything we've done in our life. They're sort of like our filing system of our experiences. So when I'm working with folks in my office doing healing trauma work, we work with chakras a lot, because that's where we hold a lot of memory, especially traumatic memory. So when we're trying to clear some of those traumas, we're clearing the chakras. But tonight what we're going to do is we're going to connect the chakras. Okay. Again, everything needs to be talking to one another. And oftentimes they just get disconnected. So we're going to reconnect them. So we're going to take our one hand, put it down right on or above the pubic bone. And the other hand is going to go right above it, below the belly button. So at the pubic bone space, for those who don't know, we're communicating and contacting that root chakra. And the root chakra is all about feeling safe, feeling grounded, feeling connected to a tribe, to a system, to a place, feeling like we belong. It often gets really shaky, when we go through hard times and we feel fear. So what we want to do is bring in a sense of safety. But what I like to do too is ask each person here, as we hold that, as we breathe, you ask your own body, because your body's the most intelligent for you. I don't really know. I know some of you, but I don't know all of you. And so sometimes when you do chakra meditations, the teacher's telling you what to think about. What I say and I do classes, I want you to connect with your own body. What does that space in your body need most right now? I can tell you what what it governs and what emotions and what its typical are. But, when I do this with people in the office, sometimes very cool things come up. It might be a word, it might be a color, it might be a food, it might be a smell, it might be a memory. I don't know what it's going to be for you, but tonight's goal is for you to learn to connect with these spaces and really tune in to your own intuition, to really know your own body in a deeper way. So we're going to inhale and just breathe and bring your attention. I often find it easier to close my eyes for this too, to that space where your bottom hand is, your root space, your root chakra, your groin area, like space that goes all the way down and connects to the earth, space of safety, groundedness. And on your inhale, ask your own body internally to yourself, what does this root chakra, this energy of my body, this space need most right now? And just take a few seconds to listen. When we're working with intuition, it's hard at first if you're not used to it, because we start to let the thinking brain get in the way, but intuition is a feeling brain. So you just got to let yourself feel it, what first comes up. Usually it will come up within about 10 seconds. Maybe you'll feel some pulsing here. But what I heard when I asked my own body was openness. So my root needs to be a little bit more open. And once I know that, then I can work with that a little bit. So between the two hands now, feel the energy. Maybe you'll feel some pulsing. Imagine this figure 8 connecting the root to the one above, which is sacral chakra. That space of the womb, for women, the uterus area, the womb area, small intestines as well. Anyway, it's a they call it sacral because it's sacred space. It governs our creative energies, our relationships, our ability to connect and bond with people. So go ahead in your own mind's eye, in your own internal way, connecting with your inner wisdom. What is your sacral chakra needs right now? And again, just allow yourself to not second guess yourself, go with what first comes to you. And if nothing came at this point, no judgment. Work with it. It will come. Just enjoy the sensation of your hands against the space and the feeling of maybe the pulsing and the heat and the intention that you're bringing healing to these spaces. So when I checked in, I heard the word comfort or nurturing. And that's what my sacral space needs more right now. So keeping that top hand there, sacral space, move the bottom hand up. We're going to go to solar plexus. The space right above the belly button, below the diaphragm. Imagine that figure 8 and the breath connecting all the way from root, all the way up to solar plexus here. Governing all those internal organs below the stomach, the spleen, pancreas, all these things. It's known as the center of our willpower, our power center. Hence, I think the name solar. So, the space that gives us energy to move forward, to make decisions, to discern. So on the next breath, breathe in and just ask your body, what does my solar plexus need most right now? Feel the heat, maybe feel the pulsing, feel the energy moving into those spaces. Again, practice if this seems challenging. Didn't get anything right away. You're getting something. You're always getting something. And I heard the word rest. So then we're going to move the bottom hand up to the heart center, leaving that other hand at solar plexus. So this beautiful heart chakra, this heart space that oftentimes puts up walls of protection because we have been hurt in different ways. Can't get through human life without having some experiences of being hurt. So our heart often is the one that puts up those walls. The heart also is a space that gives and receives joy, love, compassion. It also feels sorrow. So we can feel two things at the same time as well. So bring your energy and attention to that heart center. Ask, what does my heart chakra need most right now? Awesome. I heard for me connection. And again, if you didn't hear anything, see anything, doesn't matter. Take the bottom hand, move up to throat space. I don't usually touch my throat. I usually just go right outside. Some people are very sensitive to being touched on the throat space, and I'm one of them. So do what feels right for you. And we're moving the breath from the bottom of the root all the way up. See if you notice, sometimes for people, they see colors. And there's many colors that are associated with the chakras. Doesn't mean that there might, you've seen traditional colors and throat is usually blue, but sometimes the throat might need red. The energy and the frequency and the vibration of red today. I don't know. Throat space governs the thyroid. Parathyroid is our space of speaking our truth. Learning to be quiet when we need to, learning to speak up when we need to. What does your throat chakra need most right now? Good. My heard expression for me. We're going to move up. The bottom hand goes up to between the eyebrows, which is our third eye space. Third eye is our intuitive space, our inner wisdom, a thing that can see beyond the normal vision, the place where we can go to and ask to shift our perception. Sometimes we perceive something that may not be exactly what it is. So our third eye helps us see the big eagle's eye vision, see bigger than what we might be seeing. Also tunes us into our intuition and our inner wisdom that we are born with. So what does my third eye, my intuitive space, need most right now? It's interesting when you practice this enough, you start to get clearer and clearer about what you need. And I just heard, for me, steadfastness, staying steadfast to my inner vision, my guidance. If you need to shake your hands out, you can. And you're going to take the last hand, the bottom hand, move it up to the crown. You can bend that other hand down and kind of hold the third eye this way as we're connecting. The crown goes above us. It opens up to what we call the energies of the heavens, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the information available to us. If you have a spiritual path, it's that connection to your spiritual connections and the energies all around you. We also call that energy all around us. It goes out and reverberates from us, the morphogenic field. It's that thing that happens when you think of your best friend that you haven't spoken to in a couple of weeks and your phone rings. So your thought goes out into this morphogenic field. And all of a sudden, boom, that person calls you. So that's the morphogenic field that the crown is very well connected to when it's open. So ask your own body, your own chakras, what does my crown need most right now? That space above, space on my head that opens me up. So for me, I just heard that time to connect, that consistency in my own spiritual practices that helps me connect. Take a deep breath. If you need to drop your hands down, you can. And then you can place your hands wherever you want and just notice what you notice. When you focus on that energy that we just went up from the root all the way up, we made a connection. We connected these systems to let them work for us in our highest good. the last thing I want to do to close the class is I want to do one last energy medicine pose, I should call it. It's actually called it's late. We're going to reach our hands up and I'll think about it. So you're going to reach up if you can. Heaven rushing in, that's what it's called, or that the energy from above rushing in. So just what we did with that crown, we opened up to be open to the information available to us, to the energy available to us, to anything that is in our highest good. And heaven rushing in is just this thing. We're opening up our hands and we're asking for whatever we need right now, whatever we need. Asking the energies around us, if you have a spiritual connection, asking in that way. You just ask the universe. You just ask whatever. Ask yourself. What do I need? What do I need to bring into me right now? What do I need most? And you just ask for that. And I don't know about you, but I think our city and our country and the world needs so much right now. So whatever that is, it's not anything. Nothing is too small or too big to ask for. So let's ask for what that is. Feel your energy, grab it with your hands and bring that close in. You're going to come into right in front of your body with your hands like this. And then slowly, with the breath, move your hands and bring it, that energy of what you just asked for, into your heart space. It's a new year. There's going to be a lot going on. There's already a lot going on. So ask for what you need to move forward with what your vision and your goals are in this 2026. And with that, you can just come into a state of gratitude for taking this time for yourself. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking this time to be here for yourself and for the group. And take what you learned, and hopefully you can work with some of it over the next weeks. Like I said, I just recorded it, so I'll send it to Mia. I'm going to stop the recording right now if I can. Let's see, there it is up here.